Good night. Sweet dreams. That's what my dad would say to me. But sometimes I had trouble falling asleep. Then he would tell me stories about his travels. I want this tradition to live on. So now, let me share my stories with you. I'm sitting in the passenger seat of a small car on the way from Almería toward the desert. The sun rests warmly on my arm, which hangs loosely out of the open window. It shines on the heat-shimmering asphalt and on the endless pale roofs stretching across the plain. At first, I think they are lakes, but they are not water. They are greenhouses, enormous flat expanses of glass and plastic sheeting that line the country road in gigantic complexes, one after another. I've never seen anything like it. They look like factory halls pressed gently into the earth, except that steel and brick have been replaced by translucent material, glowing in the Andalusian light. My eyes cling to them, fascinated. I lean farther out of the window, almost too far, hoping to catch a glimpse of what grows inside. Beneath those bright roofs, oranges and mandarins ripen, fruit that will soon travel north to supermarkets all over Europe. The wind roars in my ears. For a brief moment I wonder whether I resemble a dog, sticking its head out of a moving car, lips fluttering in the rush of air. Smiling at the thought, I retreat back inside. Anna is driving. She says nothing, but a quiet, mischievous smile plays around the corners of her mouth. She must have known how strongly this strange sea of plastic and glass would impress me. She has planned this first surprise carefully. Anna is my vecina, or my neighbor. I'm staying in a rented apartment in Almería, whose owner is traveling for several weeks. One evening, she simply appeared at my door and asked how I was getting on. I said that I was looking for a good restaurant, and just like that it was decided that we would go out to eat together. I speak a few scraps of Spanish. Anna once lived in Germany for half a year. Whatever that does not cover, we sort out in English or through gestures. I tell Anna that I'm very happy to be in Spain. She informs me that I'm in Andalusia, and that one must make a very clear distinction there. Surely, Anna says, the best option would be for her to show me everything. I had no objections, and so she became my tour guide. Now I'm sitting in her small car because she wants to drive me into the desert, where her family has a finca. After some time, we leave the country road and turn onto an abandoned track. Immediately, the car begins to bounce. We hit one shallow pothole after another and are thoroughly shaken about. The road narrows. On either side stand low, dry stone walls, carefully stacked, their surfaces bleached pale by years of sun. Behind them lie olive groves, with rows of silvery green trees whose leaves shimmer softly in the heat. Here and there stands a small finca, simple and self-contained. In the gardens, Prickly pears, herbs, and vegetables are grown, but also chickens and sometimes even pigs are kept. That we are getting closer to the desert is clearly visible in the dusty tracks. With every meter, our tires kick up little clouds of sand. The place has the same name as the desert, Tabernas, Anna explains to me. We are driving very slowly now, and Anna leans back casually in her seat. She steers the car with one arm. With the other, she points out of the open window at parts of the landscape that deserve special attention. The olive trees, for example. Once a year, Anna explains, the olive harvest takes place in Tabernas. For several days, people hand-pick the olives from the trees and bring them to the press, where they are pressed into oil. Everyone helps out, children, the elderly, and everyone in between. Many people who no longer live here come home for a week from Sevilla, Granada, or Córdoba. I think it sounds wonderful. The oil, by the way, is not sold. Not a single drop, Anna says. Instead, it is divided among the helpers. Anna tells me she has never bought olive oil in her life. We park the car in front of a low stone house, right at the edge of the desert. It's the last building before the boundless nowhere. I feel as though I'm in a western. A few chickens comment on our arrival with loud cackling and frantic flapping of wings. Cariñas, Anna calls out to them, meaning darlings. Inside the finca, it is surprisingly cool. Anna's father, who is retired and lives here permanently, is sitting in a rocking chair reading the newspaper. He gives us a brief nod, asks how the drive was, and then returns to his reading. My presence does not seem to bother him in the slightest. Anna takes her role as ambassador of Andalusia very seriously. We do not stay in the house long. Barely an hour later, I'm walking behind her through the endless sand. She's armed with something like a fireplace poker, which she lets dangle casually beside her left leg. I have tied a wet t-shirt around my head to reduce the heat to a tolerable level. The sweat on my arms smells of sunscreen. Despite the temperatures, we are wearing hiking boots, 'cause Anna wants to show me some scorpions. As we walk, she explains that they hide beneath stones during the day to escape the heat. And from time to time, she says they must be reminded not to wander too close to homes. Along the way, though, there is time for her to tell me more about this place. The Desierto de Tabernas is Europe's only desert. We walk through the barren, dry landscape, interrupted only here and there by the muted pink of the blossoms of local bellbell bushes. Huge sandhills rake across the wide expanse and shimmer in the blazing sunlight. I feel as if I've crossed continents with each step. Anna tells me that the Tabernas Desert is basically world famous, albeit only through Hollywood. Film classics such as Lawrence of Arabia with Peter O'Toole or A Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood were shot here. Between Anna's explanations, I sink into the rhythm of my steps and the silence of the desert. This is an unreal place with hardly a sound. I feel keenly that we humans are merely tolerated here. Only two black specks in the endless, sandy expanse. Anna stops. With her poker, she gestures to several boulders lying a few meters away on the desert floor. Apparently, we have reached the destination of our walk. Fortunately. I place my hands on my hips and take a deep breath. My feet could not have carried me much further. Overhead, the midday sun blazes in a cloudless sky. A quick survey of the surroundings confirms that I have no sense of direction. That's where we came from, right? No, from there. I'm truly grateful to have Anna by my side. She walks over to the stones and signals me to come closer. Ready? She asks. I nod. Carefully, Anna slides the tip of her poker under one of the boulders. She lifts it, and beneath it, a scorpion indeed appears. The creature, with its two pincers and characteristic stinger, is almost completely black. It is clearly not pleased that its sunshade has been lifted. Nervously, it scuttles on its thin legs from left to right, raises its pincer in a threatening display, and points its stinger. Carefully, almost tenderly, Anna pushes the scorpion aside with the poker. It tries a few times to repel the metal with stabs, but finally gives in and darts with impressive speed into the void of the desert. All this happens in a few moments, but for me, they unfold in slow motion. Only after the scorpion disappears do I realize I've been holding my breath. No matter how you look at it, Anna knows how to fill my time in Andalusia with unforgettable experiences. I spent the siesta in the refreshing cool of the finca. Anna has withdrawn, and her father has left his rocking chair for another part of the house. I sit at a wooden table, trying to organize my thoughts in my travel journal. The mysteries of the desert whirl through my head. I do not know how substantial my scribbles are, but they capture my excitement for the Desierto de Tabernas. In the meantime, I snack on the prickly pears Anna has prepared for me on a plate. Overall, this brings me down after the excitement of the desert during the midday hours. Eventually, Anna returns and tells me to get in the car. There is still more I have to show you, she says. I reply that there's plenty to see right here in the desert. She does not accept that. We are going to Granada, and that settles it. It is not as if I have any objections. After a car ride that feels far shorter than it actually is, thanks to good conversation, Anna and I are on foot in Granada in the early evening. The lively bustle of the city forms a striking contrast to the solitude of the desert. In Granada, life pulses and sparkles at every corner. Through narrow alleys, we walk sometimes uphill, sometimes downhill. Everywhere there are small shops, bars, and cafes. People meet, pause briefly, chat, and then flow back into the stream of pedestrians. The houses are mostly low and close together. Laundry dries on racks attached to windowsills. Gray air conditioning units protrude from walls, humming quietly. Again, I can barely keep up with my attention. I turn my head to the left and watch a tabby cat balancing on a roof edge. I turn to the right and spot the enticing display of a small patisserie. Conversations in Andalusian Spanish swirl around us, occasionally pierced by fragments of English. Anna walks ahead of me. She is my only fixed point, and without her, I would almost certainly get lost. As dusk falls, our path leads us to a charming quarter perched on a small hill. The one-story houses all look old. Here and there the plaster flakes off the white walls. Young people fill the streets. The atmosphere is like that of a fair after the main attractions have been taken down, with only the romantic night owls remaining. I walk beside Anna through the narrow alleys, listening to the rhythm of shoe soles on the cobblestones. We reach a small square with a fountain in the middle trickling away. On one side, the open space is bounded by a low wall. Restaurants and bars line the other sides. Several small groups of people have gathered in front of one establishment. Some stand together laughing, others are deep in conversation. A group of young people playing cards. Anna and I sit at a free table. The owner greets us warmly, and shortly after, 2 ice-cold bottles of cerveza and several small plates of tapas arrive. We feast on garlic-marinated olives, bread with aioli, and ham. I'm especially fond of the albondigas, juicy meatballs in a fiery red sauce. The beer, of which we quickly order a second round because it's so good, is Alhambra. How fitting, as I have a direct view of the Moorish city fortress from my seat. And what a view it is! The battlements of the Alhambra rise high on another hill above us. In the light of the setting sun, the massive walls glow orange-red. The enormous structure, with its clean lines and sharp edges, appears in the Andalusian twilight like a colossal work of art. The visibly worn walls make the Alhambra even more beautiful, as they clearly show how long the fortress has stood. It is part of European history, very present in Andalusia, but elsewhere often forgotten. Muslim splendors in European cities, over 400 years of mostly peaceful everyday life in Andalusia. Next to our table, flower boxes line the street. The scent of the colorful blooms mingles with aromas wafting from the kitchen. The food, the view, the company, the mild night, all is perfect. Anna and I simply sit and enjoy the magical moment. After dinner, I retreat to a hotel room in Granada. Anna wants to meet friends, but for me the day is complete as it is. I sink into the soft bed and snuggle into the blankets and pillows. I leave the window slightly open. With eyes closed, I listen to the activity on the streets of Granada drifting in from afar. I let myself fall into the cozy tiredness at the end of an eventful day. Anna and I are scheduled for breakfast the next morning. I'm curious to see what she will show me then. In half-sleep, the impressions of Andalusia pass before my inner eye like a silent film. There are the greenhouses near Almería, There is the heat and expanse of the desert, the conviviality of the car rides, the delicious food, and of course, the sight of the Alhambra, the enormous old Moorish fortress. I must agree with Anna. Andalusia and Spain are not the same. With gratitude for this day, for the desert wind, for companionship, for ancient walls glowing in evening light, I drift gently into deep, restful sleep.